I think what you've seen is there is a shift going on. There's been a lot of studies that have happened. In fact, we do annual studies with CMOs, CEOs, CFOs, and I can tell you the whole impact of the technology and the cloud is having an impact on everyone. In fact, today, you know, the CEOs, when you ask them what's the most important element of their business going forward, most CEOs around the world are now telling us it is technology and the impact of technology. Used to be the economics, used to be the industry, now it's really becoming technology. Now, as you move to the cloud, you know, there is challenges. And those challenges you have to be very cognizant of and understand because you're going to have to deal with it. First of all, your business processes and all your transactions do span multiple environments. And therefore, the risks around security, around visibility, and control at each touch point need to be taken care of. Just because you've moved a key business process from an in-house data center out to a combination of the cloud or even complete out to the cloud doesn't mean that you have abdicated responsibility for that visibility and control that the business expects of you. And so you've got to pay particular attention to that. Then the second one is you really have to make sure that you're building flexibility of the future, whether it be in your applications, in the way you structure your data, where the data resides, what services you provide, how you expose that in your mobile environment. In fact, when you talk about mobile, you can ask yourself the question, is the cloud driving mobile or is mobile driving the cloud? And the answer is yes. You can't divorce the two because they're so intertwined. And then you want to make sure that you can get to the right data. Because one of the biggest challenges we're all going to have is you have a lot more data to deal with than you ever have before. We all know the challenges of data governance as we were trying to deal with that and the data that sat in our data centers. Now add all the exponential data that comes from the sources like social that you now have to understand, you have to refine, and now you have to provide that with the data you provide and do analytics to really drive the next generation of insight. So remember, you have to span your business process because this is about business. You have to make sure you got flexibility for the future because you're making decisions that are going to be with you for a long time. Now, the cloud does offer multiple viable models. And what we're starting to see is the model that's having the most impact on the business are hybrid clouds. Now, definition, very simple. It's a connection of one or more clouds to an on-premise system and or the connection of one or more clouds to other clouds. Because the pieces that you're going to have, the processes that drive your business, the data that you have to use and aggregate is going to come from multiple sources. And what you want to do is you want to have a flexible enough environment that enables you to deal with that. But if you want a successful hybrid cloud, you need that visibility control and security. You need to be able to integrate to your back-end systems or to any system that's going to provide you the application, the process, or the data. You've got to be able to have portability. And portability is important. If you build this new cloud service, can you move that service around from your private cloud to the public cloud or from public cloud 1 to public cloud 2? And you're going to hear us talk about the importance of open standards. And then developer productivity. I can tell you that that is a low-hanging fruit. The ability to bring developers and make them more productive is one of the easiest and most potentially impactful things you can do in your organization. You combine Agile with the capability of the cloud, and you unleash your development organizations, and I can tell you they will innovate. Because when you look at most innovation, where is it starting? Where is it coming from? Obviously, the business wants innovation. It's really coming from developers. And then data, data, data. If you can get deeper insight from data and apply analytics, you can get insight and change your processes faster than anyone in your particular industry. And if you take the lead, you will drive more business. Now, if you think about the set of challenges, around visibility, control, and security, you need transparency. And you need transparency from the front to the back. Because you move it to the cloud doesn't mean you don't have to understand, you don't have to control, you don't have to govern. For those of you that are in international businesses, there's even an added element on data, and that's data sovereignty. I spent a week in Europe last week, and I can tell you, if you have a business that resides in Europe, there are very strict laws about where the data can be, where the data can reside, who can access the data. And that is something we're going to have to take into consideration. And in fact, when we talk about our infrastructure, that's one of the reasons that our strategy for the infrastructure layer with soft layer is really to have a distributed and federated set of data centers around the world. Unlike some of the other public cloud providers that build big mega data centers, we're building them in country. And because you have to deal with that transparency and that data. And you want to give control, you want to maintain control, because it's important that you continue to control the end-to-end. That's the single biggest thing that prevents IT from moving to the cloud, is people perceive they're losing control. And so you don't have to lose control. And you have to take a multi-layered approach to things like security, because every interaction point is a point where you need to understand that you are secure, whether it's the data, the processes, the people, the authentication. And security continues to be the number one. And there are a lot of companies out there that are already dealing with that challenge that can help you. And I do believe we are going to learn a lot from each other. And I can tell you, you'll never get it right the first time. You'll be 85% right the first time, and you're going to keep iterating and iterating and iterating. And then secondly, integration and portability, because you want to be able to compose application and recompose application in new and unique ways very quickly. How do I connect to the data? How do I connect to that new service? And by the way, there'll always be something new that will come along. And what you don't want to do is say, okay, well, in 12 months, I'll have this new service up. For most of us in the industries that we're in, we've got to be talking in weeks, if not days. And that means a whole new paradigm to think about how do we secure access to the data and transaction systems that we already have today. Because you're not going to throw away trillions of dollars of investments that you've made, but what you will do is you'll move bits and pieces as your business dictates and as you get business value. That means you have got to be able to change your applications. You've got to be able to move things around very quickly and very easily. If you can't do that, all you're going to do is create tomorrow's legacy problem. And we don't want the next generation of IT in the cloud to be the challenge that we've got tomorrow. And then that enhanced developer productivity that I talked about is you want seamless delivery. Because you're going to connect and compose data and services inside of your own private clouds. Some of it will go out in the web, some of it may be mobile applications. And you want to be able to share all these services. You don't want to build unique fiefdoms or towers for each of the areas of delivery. You want to have a flexible model that enables you to really connect all of these services in new and unique ways in a flexibility. But you also want to be able to do it quickly. And the whole notion of DevOps and Agile. If I did a survey, most of you think that you do Agile. But do you really do DevOps? Do you really have the ability to go from the front to the back in a development process in the matter of days or even hours? I talked to one client. They deliver new function every single day. I've talked to organizations, they're lucky if they can deliver new function every 12 months. Okay? You may not be the one that delivers every day, but I can tell you if you're the one that only delivers once a year, you're going to fall behind because the market is dramatically changing. And you'll hear from some of our clients, and one thing that is common in clients that lead, and we heard that from Irina, is they really understand the impact and the culture and the processes they use. And the whole area of developer productivity is absolutely key. And then the last one, data and analytics. Hybrid cloud is going to fuel the ability to combine data and do analytics like we've never, ever been able to do before. Everything that we do on the cloud, we're basing around data and analytics because we believe that's where the competitive advantage will come from. Your ability to understand your own data combined with all of the information and data that's being made available because the world is open with the cloud and with mobile will give you a competitive advantage if you really understand and take advantage of it. Okay, whether you're a traditional business moving or whether you're a new startup. Data and the ability to provide those data services is important. And then as we move into the next generation of cognitive computing, and you've seen what we've done with our Watson platform, all of that and that interaction is going to change the way you interact with your employees, with your suppliers, and more importantly, with the way you interact with your clients and your customers. So it's really important to understand data and analytics and how the hybrid cloud brings a whole new dimension to that set of opportunities. Now, when you think about it, every role in the organization is going to transform. The business leaders, they want to innovate. I have not talked to one business leader that doesn't want to innovate at rapid speed. I know there's some CMOs in the room. I can tell you right now, the CMO function is innovating at a pace quicker than almost any other role we've ever seen. In fact, if you believe some of the IT analysts, they say that the CMO will actually outspend IT by the year 2018. And when you think about that, why? Because they want innovation, and they are trying to get their product and their services in the hands of the client. And as IT professionals, we have to enable that. Developers are empowered. IT leaders, you either be a change agent or you will be disintermediated. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. You have to be the change agent. If you are, you will be an enabler. It's like the cloud, it's an enabler. And then the way we think about is 3 tiers. You need a world-class cloud infrastructure. Because if you're moving from a secure, managed environment that you have and you're moving to the cloud, you're expecting the same, okay? Because what you don't want to do is, yes, I save a lot of money, but oh, now I don't have the control, I can't do what the business demands of me. Then you need a digital innovation platform. Call that platform as a service, call it what you want, but that platform has got to be able to provide you the ability to generate and build the next generation of new applications that really support the business innovation that's needed across process, across data. And then there are cloud business applications out there, and I will contend that business processes that run your business are bifurcating into 2 categories. Those business processes that are required to run the business, but don't necessarily need to be in-house, because you're not going to differentiate yourself by some of your applications like HR. Okay, you will probably go out to the cloud and get the best of breed provider who can provide you what you need. Other business processes are your differentiation. They're the processes that make the products or services that you deliver unique. Those are the ones that you want to pay attention to. And in fact, if you can move some of the process out to the cloud, you can free up the valuable resources and talent you have to go and drive innovation. Because it's no longer IT is about managing, IT is now about innovating. Now, when you take a look at the layers, that's why we acquired SoftLayer. It is a world-class infrastructure. It's open, it's secure, and it's scalable. We're opening up data centers around the world, and you control where your data goes. Unlike some of the other providers, you don't know where your application is running. You don't know where your data is provided. In SoftLayer, you have control. You have the APIs that can tell the provider, here's where I want the data, it needs to be in country. You have much more control. Underpinning that global footprint is a secure and high-speed network. Unlike others who go through public networks, we've got a private network that underpins the connection of all of our SoftLayer data centers. That gives us the ability to provide very consistent performance, consistent security, and it also enables us to move data around for you. Because when you think about all this data and the movement of data, if you really understand your cloud application, only about 30% of it is compute and storage, the cost. A majority of the cost is going to be managing the environment and moving data around. That's why having a private network where we can help move that data around is really, really important. And then obviously all the services and tools from the rest of the IBM company. And we now have over 40 global cloud centers that are now totally integrated. Now, if you think about the next layer, we introduced Bluemix just over a year ago. And our vision for Bluemix is very simple. Provide a platform for developers that allow them to not have to worry about the infrastructure, not have to worry about how do I scale the application, how do I securely connect to my back-end database, how do I securely connect to my transaction system, but provide a platform that handles that for the application programmer, so the programmers can now start to think about what are these services that I want to connect together? How do I build that next new cool mobile application that may connect to a data, but brings the data to the mobile device to enhance the experience? Because those that have an enhanced experience for your end user are the ones that are really going to make a difference. I don't care if you're in financial services and you're a bank, if you're in the retail business and the hospitality business, those that innovate on the front end are going to be those that are going to win a majority of the business. Now, with Bluemix, we know some of it you'll develop out in the public cloud. So we've got a public version. We've got a dedicated Bluemix, so you do not want to be multi-tenant. You want to have much more control of your environment. You don't want to share, but you still want the economics of the public cloud. We've got a dedicated Bluemix platform, and we also introduced a private or local deployment, because there are some of you that are in, especially those that are in industries that are very regulated, you love the model of the cloud, you love the economics of the cloud, but you want to manage that in-house. You don't want to move the data out to the public cloud, you want it in-house. You can now use the next generation of development, of cloud development platform to do that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about Bluemix, and you'll see some examples of clients that are utilizing Bluemix very quickly to drive the next generation of the innovation that they're required. And then one of the things that's best kept secret is all of these business applications. In fact, there are over 100 SaaS properties that we have in IBM. And really think of those as business applications that help you accelerate. I've just included a couple here. Watson Analytics. So now you can take advantage of Watson Analytics without buying into the big Watson platform. Now you can go and apply Watson Analytics, and we provide that as a SaaS offering on top of the Bluemix platform. We also have IBM Verse, the next generation of collaboration, because how many of you just love your email platform that you're on today? Probably not very many. So we developed Verse as a cloud application that really helps collaboration and changes the paradigm of interaction from the email being the center of everything you do to the collaboration you do with people being the center. I encourage you to go out there, try it. It is pretty cool. And then the Connexa Talent Suite is another example. A lot of industries are having to manage talent. How you hire, when you hire, who you hire, what the profile is, because you're spending a lot of time and energy in churning up the talent that's out there. And some industries, that is a majority of where they spend, their dollars. So we've got over 100 SaaS offerings. Take a look. In fact, there was one client. What they do is they start with a premise that the first thing you do is you look for a SaaS application. If you can't find a SaaS application, then you look at building your own cloud application on platform as a service. And then if that can't be done, that's when you go down to the infrastructure and start building it from scratch. Spin up your own virtual machine, spin up your own storage instances, and build out the application. So kind of a top-down. So what I'd like to do now is bring up a client. because I think it's really important that you hear from others that are on that journey, that are making the change, and hear the challenges that they're dealing with, because I suspect a lot of you are dealing with the same set of challenges.